tutorial, I'm going to teach us how to take a proper measurement. Now, what do you need? You need a measuring tape. You need a mirror in case if you want to measure yourself. You also need a pen or pencil and paper. Now, let's start. To take a proper measurement for a blouse or a top, you have to measure from the shoulder. This is the shoulder line. So from the shoulder to the under bust, under the breast, this is called the under bust. For this mannequin, the under bust is 14.5. Now from the shoulder again to the nipple point, this is nipple, the nipple point, this is 10.5. This type of measurement you will need it when you want to make a blouse or a corset. You need this type of measurement. You need the shoulder to the nipple. You also need the shoulder to the under bust. Very, very important. Now from the under bust, you come down to the waistline. This is the waistline. If you look closely, you notice where the curve, the waist starts to curve. You see it here. So look at my own. So this is where my curve starts. So this is called the natural waist. The natural waist. So when you come there, that is where you measure the waistline. You see it? This is the waistline. So for those who are making corsets, this is very necessary. It is also important in making a gown or blouse or any top of your choice, depending, as long as the dress is fitted. So this is the natural width. So here now, you have to measure it. You have to take note of this point, this natural width. Now come from the shoulder again, from the shoulder to that natural waist, to the under bust, to the natural waist. This is 19 inches. 19 inches. That is this mannequin's natural waist. Everybody has their own natural waist. Now from there, for a gown, you now take it down to wherever length of the gown that you need. That is for that. Now also coming to the corset as well. Coming to the corset, you also measure from, you remember when we measured from the shoulder to the nipple? Good. You also need from the nipple to the nipple measurements. Nipple to the nipple. For this mannequin, nipple to the nipple is 6 inches. 6 inches, take note. So everybody has their own nipple. You can see 7 inches, you can see 6.5, you can see 7.5, 8 inches, depending on how wide the person's bust is. Now the next thing we are going to do is to take the shoulder measurement. The shoulder measurement. Now this is the shoulder measurement. So this place. That's the shoulder measurement. You understand that sometimes when you sew a clothes for a client, you notice that when you do the measurement it was okay, but after sewing the clothes you notice that the clothes is not fitted, is not holding the person's bust well, and you may wonder why is it so. Please take note, if you want to measure your clients, especially if the clothes is supposed to be fitted, tell the client to wear a fitted bra or a fitted clothes, a fitted bra and a fitted clothes. Why? If you measure a dress of a customer wearing a slagged bust, it will affect the shoulder to the under bust. Here, it is going to definitely affect it. The reason is that if you wear a well-fitted bra, it will push up your breast so that the under bust will be visible. But if you wear a sagged bra, it will make it flat, and it will be difficult for you who is taking the measurements to determine where the under bust starts. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So when you want to measure a client, make sure you tell the client to wear a fitted bra so that your measurements will be very, very accurate. So to get that, you measure from the shoulder to the under bust. From the shoulder to the under bust. Now again, how do we get the armhole measurement? Armhole measurement this way. This is the armhole measurement. Sometimes some people they want to cut armhole. They will cut a big armhole that after sewing the clothes, the armhole will be very big. Before they start shaping, before you know it, the cloth is already tight at the bust, and yet they did not get the armhole. So to avoid that, always measure your client's armhole. If you don't know how to calculate it without measuring it, make sure you measure. It is very, very important. Measure. So this is how you measure your armhole, like I just showed you. Have you seen it? This is the armhole measurement. It's very important. Now this is all the measurements you may need for the upper part. So you can just decide if it's a sleeve where you want to measure the sleeve length, the round sleeve. This is called the round sleeve. Measure the round sleeve. This is the wrist. Measure the wrist. So, but the most important measurement is this place. Another thing to take note is when it comes to getting the neck of a cloth, you will notice that some people they will make a cloth for a client. The neck will be too wide. Even if you say you want to shape it, by the time you are shaping, the thing will just spoil the cloth. So how do you get a proper measurement for neck? Now there's a standard measurement that we always use for neck measurement, which is 3 inches width, 3 inches from shoulder down, 3 inches length, sorry. Then the width also 3 inches. Remember, when you are sewing a cloth, when you want to cut a cloth, you fold your material on fold. You fold your material on fold. I'm going to show you what I mean shortly. So when you fold your material on fold, you are going to measure 3 inches in width, then 3 inches in length. This is the standard measurement for neck measurement. Now it depends on what you want to sew. You can decide to make the neck wider, maybe 3.5 or 3.75 inches, depending on the person's size. If it's a normal size, like me, my standard measurement is 3.3, standard measurement. But if I want to sew something wider, I can do 3.25 for myself. 3.25, then width 3 inches or 3.5, depending on what I'm sewing. But if it's a turtleneck that I want to make, it's 3 inches in width, then in length 2.5 for my turtleneck. So it all depends on what you want to sew and who you are sewing for. So please take note that all the measurements are not exactly the same. That is why each client you want to make clothes for, you make sure you take the client's measurements. Also ask the client, where do you want the neck to stop? The client will tell you, I want the neck to reach here. You measure it. You must measure it from your shoulder to that point. Now from my shoulder to this point is 8.5 inches. You already know that it is 8.5 inches, especially if it is a V-neck. But if it is an off shoulder and the client wants perhaps a sweetheart neckline and the client wants it to be a bit down, you also ask the client, please, where do you want it to reach? You measure. Do you want the off shoulder to be too down? You take note of all this. It is very, very important. When you do all these things, it will help you to get the accurate measurements, and when you sew the clothes, it will come out very well. So like I said, the standard measurement I was explaining before, that is 3 inches in width and 3 inches in length. I'm going to show you exactly what I mean. So please stay tuned.